Whew, that was a nice 5 minutes of meditation. Time to check the news again. Terrorists overran another country, Boko Haram is on the rise, tsunamis, pandemics, earthquakes. Maybe it is time to hide myself in the basement and wait for someone else to tell me what to do. Hey guys, today we will analyze the problems and the dangers in consuming news and engaging in online politics and discussions of all kinds. This is a rather unpopular opinion, but I fully stand by it. I see very little merit or benefit in any of those behaviors, and most of the information we get from the news is just garbage and won't change our behavior in any way, and it is thus completely useless. It is just an ego trap. And it is a major negative influence on mental and even physical health and has practically no benefits. I can only repeat that over and over again. News and online politics might as well be regarded as a tool to keep you fearful and agitated, as that leads to predictable behavior from your side, and people like it when other people behave in a way that they can somewhat predict. And as the Buddha rightfully mentioned, if something has literally zero gratification, people won't engage in it. Thus, news and online politics give people something in the short run. Otherwise, it would be pure madness to engage in it. But there is something, there is gratification in it, otherwise no one would do it. And even if many people like to think that, people will only harm themselves knowingly in the rarest of cases. So they find something of benefit in there, but it is not much, I can guarantee that. And people usually follow some logic, given that things they think to be true. It is just that what they know isn't often true. It is rather simple. And one of the benefits of news and politics is an immediate feeling of superiority and righteousness. Knowing better than others puts us above them and feels good in the short term. And many people are really addicted to that, and it's not a nice place to be in, as it makes you a rather unlikable person, at least in the long run. Maybe among other equally deluded people, you can still score some friendship points or something like that, but it is rather rare. And they really believe that they know it better and that their version of things is the right one, and completely ignore their own history of being wrong all the time. I mean, if we just look back to our past selves, if we continuously learn, then we know that most of our opinions of the past were plainly wrong. And there's no reason to assume that it will be different in 5, 10 or 15 years. We will look back and think how stupid we were. And that history exists for everyone, if we are honest with ourselves. The future is just unpredictable in most cases, and we can do nothing about it. And another popular belief is that consuming news and agitating materials as a distraction from all the problems people ignored over the years. So it gives us some relief, so we can hide and ignore our nagging pains and our insecurities. We just watch something and it distracts us. People seek out materials that create a strong emotion and strong reactions to mask their problems in summary. The mind can only really do one thing at a time and feel one thing at a time, and that is usually the strongest impulse. And thus, their emotions and problems go away for a while, and that is somewhat pleasant in a very twisted sense. It is just a hiding of the symptoms of the emotions. It doesn't fix the problem at all, but it gives us a nice feeling of relief. However, all those supposed benefits are either wrong or just mask symptoms or are outright harmful in the long run. The emotional masking just hides the symptoms but not removes the causes. And the righteous anger and feelings of superiority have you feel good in the short term, but it creates a horrible outlook on life in the long run. And that outlook can really propel you down into depression if you really meme yourself into believing that. And if you ask yourself rightfully, has watching the news ever led to anything good or altered the way you make decisions for the better? The answer is very likely no, or in very minuscule ways. And this is incredibly important to understand. If there are many informations out there of any kind, but only those kinds that change your way you relate to the work are of any benefit. You can read all the headlines in all the newspapers out there, and you will seldomly find anything that changes your behavior in major ways, and thus all of it is just junk information that clouds your mind and has no value for you. Quite the contrary. The negative effects outweigh the positive ones many times. Getting bombarded with constant negativity and fear leads your mind to adapting to that kind of thinking and leaves you chronically stressed and agitated. Whatever we think the majority of the time will become our natural mode of being. Be very careful what you consume. I really like to stress the importance of a good mental diet. It is just like a physical diet, but even more important. Furthermore, chronic stress is among the best predictors for health problems and depression and burnout and even an early death. You will seldomly find an old person who is stressed. And if that is not enough, all of the above not only affects you negatively, but also those around you. People learn simply by imitating 80% or more of the time. And that is true for both behaviors and emotions and everything, because our emotions result from our behaviors. And when those people around us imitate us, we cause a lot of harm around us. And that is something that we should avoid if we can. And evolutionary, it was a big advantage to behave in unison as a group of people, and we synchronize automatically. Right now, we are a bit smarter, arguably, and we should avoid that mechanism if we can, or at least feed it the right kind of information to not spread negativity. And you quite literally pull everyone around you into a state of agitation and depression with you, if you want to or not, simply by being negative and being around people. And that should be avoided if you can. And the modern world supplies us with so many examples of this kind of development that it is truly sad to observe, at least from my point of view. People everywhere seek out echo chambers that mirror their views and confirm their biases and each other's opinions. The result is that more and more people become extremists and are agitated and negative all the time. It is truly no wonder that depression and other mental illnesses are at an all-time high. And the worst part, people create their own suffering and actively keep themselves in their condition unknowingly by repeatedly engaging in those behaviors. They don't see them as harmful yet, and thus they repeat them over and over again for the short-term benefits. But that is all there is to offer. Short-term benefits and future problems. And at some point, the future problems have accumulated over time, and they will come back to you to haunt you. And one of the first and most profound steps people can take when they want to improve is to simply stop watching news and stop any political engagement. This is one thing, and this one thing alone can already make a huge difference and solve most of people's problems. I have tried this many times with other people, and the result is always the same. You literally miss nothing. Everyone will keep you informed on the big news anyway, and you will lose only a fear of missing out. People might look at you confused, but who really cares? It is your health and your risk after all. If you stop watching those things, your life will improve a lot. I can pretty much guarantee that, especially if you have been a heavy consumer of all those things. And whenever I tell someone that I do not watch or read news and avoid all political discussions, I get the looks from most people. I won't lie there. They cannot fathom how someone would refuse to engage in their madness, in their addiction. But it is just as it is. Personally, it was one of my best decisions ever to quit all the news and the political discussions. My mental health has improved by so much, and my meditation quality too. It worked wonders for my levels of, meditation in the long run and in the short term. Because every time I meditated after watching the news, I was so, restless and couldn't calm down for, half an hour, and spent the majority of the meditation just to calm myself down and got no quality insight or anything in. You miss nothing, and others will tell you the big stuff anyway. So, it's better not to engage in all of this. But let us now come to the most important point. Watching news and politics is regarded as mandatory and beneficial in our society, and this is ridiculous. Being informed is advertised as a role model for society even. But you miss nothing if you are not informed. Most information out there is pure garbage, and even worse, it is not only useless, it is outright harmful. Try to avoid it whenever you can. If you quit, you improve your health, your productivity, and your well-being. Everything in your life will profit from those things. And try it for yourself. It is rather simple. You will see. Being informed is a meme that causes nothing but harm and makes you predictable and controllable and fearful and miserable. Okay, but that is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, feel free to subscribe and maybe like the video. But until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.